Look at him. He's just dickered. Just dickered, boys. Son of a bitch.
Yo, yo. Class A, and macro. Not connected, not elected to participate. Bouncing down the stems will make your head hurt. Enjoy the takes. Says her whose head burns from here.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Take or Wide. This is episode 251. It's Monday, Christmas Eve, I guess. That's when this is coming out. And yeah, I'm hoping you guys had a good year. I'm hoping it's hard to say. Hopefully it was a good year for everybody. I think it's exciting to think of 2019 as new potential and new opportunities, and we'll see. We'll fucking see, man. Hopefully she's a good one. But anyways, let's get into the sponsors here. As I mentioned, these help me get the episodes out to you guys, and these aren't massive companies. These are just hardworking people who believe in what they do, and I believe in what they do, and they believe in what I do. So it's a nice little circle of support. So if you can support them, that'd be fantastic. The first one is a hot sauce company, Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Heartbeat Hot Sauce is a hot sauce company from Thunder Bay. Their peppers are fermented using traditional methods before being cooked with a few simple high-quality ingredients. There's no water added or thickening agents or chemical preservatives of any kind, and it makes their sauce as natural as it gets. They were on season 6 of Hot Ones on YouTube. If you haven't ever seen that, just YouTube that. It's a great interview show, and it's a really cool idea, and it's so crazy that those guys are on it. But I think that speaks a lot to the quality of what they're selling. It's a super good hot sauce. It's not super hot where it's unenjoyable. It has kick, but it tastes good. It tastes really, really fucking good. They have the red habanero. They have a jalapeno. They have a blueberry habanero, I believe. It's a really, really good sauce. That's kind of all I can say about it. If you haven't tried it, you should try it. You can find it online. You can go to heartbeathotsauce.com and look at the store locator, and it'll help you find a store. If not, you can buy it at most grocery stores across Canada at this point, which is pretty crazy. Just go to heartbeathotsauce.com and then even order it there. If you use promo code TakerWide5, you'll get 5% off of your cart, which is great of them to do. And yeah, find them on Instagram. Give them a like and show them some love, and thank you, Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Next is DFA Tattoos. If you are in Montreal or know someone who's going to Montreal and is looking for a tattoo, go to DFA. They're at 328 St. Catherine Est. That's right downtown, right by Foufs, right by a whole bunch of shit that I can't think of to list right now. But 328 St. Catherine Est. It's a safe place, a highly talented crew of people there that can handle all styles, anything you bring in. Custom, portraits, classic, I don't know, description or, whatever that adjective of a tattoo you can think of, they can handle it. It's Shawnee and Co., and I'm super happy they're on board with this. You can find them at dfatattoos.com as well. And go tell someone to go get tatted at DFA Tattoos, or you do it yourself. Next, we have Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. Hefner Toyota is at 3121 King Street East in Kitchener. Now, this is mostly for the 519 listeners. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a new car and you don't know where to start or where to end, I say go to Rigo, Kevin Rigo. He's an old friend of mine. He's an honest dude. He's a family man. He supports this. He supports the DIY. And he's honest. I think that's the biggest thing. He's an honest guy. He won't bullshit you. You can trust him with your purchase, and that's a big thing to do when you're dropping that much cash on a vehicle. So go see Kevin. Go say hi. Mention the show, and you'll get special pricing on new vehicles. He's also on Facebook, just Kevin Rigo of Hefner Toyota. Go give it a like. Next, we have Ironclad Graphics. They're a custom screen printing shop in Kingston. They specialize in apparel printing. They do shirts, stickers, patches, koozies, hats, almost anything. If you go to ironcladgraphics.com, you can find out all the information there. Hit them up, ask them for a quote, and I'm sure that they can be competitive and they will help you out. I've worked with them for a long time, and they've never really let me down. They're a solid company. They've been doing it for a long time, so all love to Ironclad Graphics. Next is Dapper Beard Oil. Dapper Beard Oil is a beard oil company from Ottawa, and it's a really good beard oil. It's not too overpowering with its scent. It is functional in that it helps reduce beard dandruff. It's antibacterial. It helps hydrate, helps repair your beard. It's all ethically sourced, 100% natural ingredients, and a small business. So go support them, dapperbeardoil.com, and use promo code TAKERWIDE free ship when you're checking out, and you'll save on shipping, which is not like $2. Like, you'll save some cash on that. So if you or someone you know is looking for a gift, or if you just want to try it out, that's a great opportunity to try it. dapperbeardoil.com. A couple more here. We have Wellington Brewery. They're Canada's oldest independent microbrewery. And they have award-winning beers. They do small batches. What else can I say? I don't know. They're just an active member of the community. 25 cents of each can of Queen of Craft Grisette got donated to Guelph Wellington Women in Crisis. And I know there's a couple other beers that apply to that as well. I was sipping on Russian Stout for this episode, and it was really good. And it's super cool they're on board. So big, much respect to Wellington Brewery for the support. Go grab a welly. Try a welly on, I think, is the slogan. Lastly, Dave Levitt Photography. If you need a photographer for your wedding or for your band or for your car or anything, I know Levitt just updated his website, so go take a look. DaveLevittPhotography.ca. Check out his resume. Check out his portfolio. Talented cat. He's been doing it for a long time, so hit him up if you need some photos and you're around Cambridge. And that's it. I don't know why I'm so winded right now. I think it's because I'm full. I'm like, just had a bunch of snacks. So for this episode, I spoke to Tom Berg. Tom Berg is a Minneapolis-based bassist musician. We met him when he was playing with Self-Evident on tour years and years ago. Self-Evident are a great band. Zebulon Pike are a great band. For this episode, it kind of popped up on my radar because Self-Evident have a new album coming out January 18th, I think it is. So we kind of talk about that. You can hear one of the new tracks off the record in the episode. And it was just good to catch up with Tom. He's a really, really cool guy. He's a sweetheart of a man. So get to know Tom in this episode, and here we go, 251 with Tom. Good. Fuck. But yes, man, we were talking about being self-taught, and I was self-taught, and it gave me a sort of, I guess, style, but I don't know. What do you think? Do you think if you had lessons, you'd be drastically different, creatively, as you are now?
I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't play guitar, but when I was 11, 12, I sort of learned to play single note guitar, playing along to the Beatles with an acoustic guitar set on my lap.
Okay.
So you'd think that would have probably some impact, and then I started picking up the bass when I was 15 to the first Rage Against the Machine record, which sort of propelled me, I guess, sort of that type of direction. That, and obviously a lot of other 90s alternative whatever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wonder, man. There. It seems that people who are super educated, it's to me odd when they're really creative, because I feel like if you're taught a certain way and you might, without thinking, be in a type of box, you can't do that, right? Because that's not the proper technique or the proper way according to whatever school you went to.
Right, but I've noticed playing with Zebulon Pike, being in a band with a guy that's better at bass than me, who plays guitar in that band, you know what I mean? Who is a bass teacher.
Huh.
He's always God, you just, you finger this run or whatever, so weird. If you did it this way, you'd be able to play much faster or play it much smoother or whatever. And I'm sorry, man, it's just, I've been doing this now for 30, 25 plus years, it's it's not like I can unteach myself bad habits. You know what I mean at this point?
Totally. Well, and I think, I don't know, I think music and artists that are making mistakes, or it's sometimes those are the coolest little parts. And not that they're mistakes, but to some like really educated person, it might be like, oh, that's not right. But it's like, well, that's how I do it. And like, even let's say like your tone or your style of playing adds something. You know, it's cool that any musician might get to a point where they're easily picked out, like, oh, that sounds like Tom Berg's playing. You know what I mean? That's I think like such a cool compliment.
Yeah, and it's like not ever really playing with a pick. That's another sort of influence or lack of influence. And then never like being a guitar player first. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like it seems like a lot of bass players started as guitar players, and the band had nobody who wanted to play bass. So,
yeah.
You know, they're like the sacrificial lamb. You know.
Totally, man. So you said you were like,
I guess we'll do the bass.
Yeah, you were like 12 when you started.
Like 14, 15.
14. Was it just like a sibling or your parents, or like, you know, how did you kind of stumble across music being cool?
I had a buddy named Adam who like lived down the street. He had some cool guitars, and you know, we'd listen to music together and whatnot. And I think he had a bass, and I think I bought it for like $130. You know, like one of those like Fender rip-offs or whatever. I'm trying to remember. It was like a black. God, I think it still exists somewhere. I don't own it anymore, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it was like, so, you know, sat down with that, got like a practice amp, and then soon after started playing with like, you know, some dudes in high school.
Do you remember did you guys have a band name? Do you remember your band name?
Yeah. I think the first one actually was called Purge. And it was like, it was pretty heavy actually for back then. I mean, you know, so you'd play like the variety shows on, you know, in the gym in high school.
Are you from Minneapolis? Sorry, man. Are you from Minneapolis?
Like 15 minutes away. It's
okay.
a little, like a pretty big town, about 100,000 people called Bloomington.
Okay, yeah.
Suburb. So yeah, played in like 2 or 3 bands through high school. A couple other ones were kind of that alternative rock, you know, kind of like, hate to say it, but there was probably elements of like live and, you know,
cool.
Maybe even like, I hate to admit, like, you know, Dave Matthews and some of it, or, you know, I mean, we didn't know what the fuck we were doing.
Nobody when you're a kid is playing cool shit. Most people aren't. Like,
yeah.
I wasn't. Fuck.
I mean, this was like 94, 95, you know, and we were into Nirvana and like Smashing Pumpkins and, you know, I mean, I guess relatively cool shit, Jane's Addiction and Pearl Jam and, you know,
mm-hmm.
But that was kind of the common denominator.
Mm-hmm. So that was like, were you playing, cause I grew up north of there and I always remember First Ave being like, it's like a sick place. Like, was that kind of the same sort of thing? Like, wow, one day we might do a show there, right? First Ave, that's Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, it's the deal, man. It's the club, like pretty much in the 5-state area, you know?
Yeah. When was the first time you played there? Was it part of like a variety night or something like that? They opened the door to like younger kids?
Well, there's a separate venue that's attached to it called 7th Street Entry, which is kind of the 200-person venue.
Okay.
And even that is really exclusive to get into. You know what I mean?
Huh.
The main room holds like 1,800 people or something.
Oh,
I mean, it's ridiculous. So I didn't play the main room until I was probably in my, late 20s, early 30s.
Okay, yeah. Was it with Self-Evident? No.
That's the funny thing is we've never played that room.
Huh.
My other band, Zebulon Pike's played there twice, I think. But yeah, Self-Evident's never played the main room, which is really weird, you know, being a band for 21 years.
Whatever, man. Sometimes, like, is it a thing you guys like want to do? But I don't know. I'm not over, but like certain legendary venues and stuff don't mean much to me anymore because I've done like one or two that are like, whoa, it's this legendary thing, and then you're done, and it's like that was just another gig.
Well, that's the thing is we don't really. I mean, we can't support the draw in a room that big. You know what I mean? Unless it's some showcase thing or, we thought about like we did a big 20-year anniversary show, and actually, I asked you guys to come down, and I know it's like would be really hard to do, but we did 20 bands over the course of a day, and even something like that, to staff the place and just the expense, cost, and it's. I mean, so we ended up doing like a 400 or 500 person venue, which still was almost too big. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, fuck, man. Like 1,800? Is that what First Stab holds? You said 1,800?
Something like that. Yeah.
That's a lot of fucking people. Holy fuck.
Yeah, and it's like huge bands come through there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like I just saw Quicksand there not too long ago, and they don't even fill that room up.
Jeez.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. How did you? So you were playing with these Purge guys. Like, I'm kind of like curious as to like, because Self-Evident, it's like 18, almost 20 years. Like, how did it all
21.
happen? 21. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
How did it start for you guys?
So what's that? Oh, as far as Self-Evident goes?
Yeah.
Me and buddy Brian, who I've been playing in a couple, actually most of those bands with, or all of those bands, is he was the original drummer. Him and I just graduated high school. I remember it was that summer, and I'd known Conrad, but we didn't really know each other very well.
Okay.
And it was kind of one of those things where he was playing in a band that was, doing pretty well, like sort of that alternative whatnot. I mean, he was just an amazing guitar player, even back then, and it was like one of those dudes where he was kind of looking for another project or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so it ended up being like the three of us, and then there's also two other dudes, and actually one of the other dudes was sort of the guy who got us all together.
Okay.
In a room. It was like five of us, and there's like three guys playing guitar. And real quickly, I think kind of the three of us sort of honed in, just the kind of the three of us, and sort of dick move, but I think we inevitably sort of just started to schedule getting together, just the three of us, and not let the other two guys know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that can happen. I think you just feel a vibe, or you have like a sort of idea and you act on it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, Conrad's playing complicated enough shit with one guitar where it was sort of unnecessary to have two more. You know what I mean?
So Ben wasn't the original drummer.
No, he didn't join until Brian left. He actually sort of spur of the moment, like, I'm moving to Montana. And we're like, all right. So we sat down. He told us that same day. I called Ben up that same day, and pretty much that night he's like, yep, I'm in.
Wow.
So we pretty much had another drummer lined up like the same day.
How many years into the band, like the three of you guys, was it before Ben stepped in? Like a couple years, or?
Well, it was like 9.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was like 06, I think Ben joined.
Wow.
And we were right in the middle. I mean, we had a shit ton of material. I think we had something like 15 songs written, and ended up having 19 songs we ended up going into the studio with Ben.
Holy shit. Well, shit.
So, I mean, he had to learn a shit ton of material, like, quick. And it was cool, because we kind of just said, you know what, play it your way, and let's work these songs out, like, stylistically the way you want to play them. So really, he had never heard what Brian was doing on them, which was really interesting. You know what I mean?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, yeah, how drastic of a change was it between those two guys? Because you guys do a certain style of music, and I really think, wow, like anyone stepping in could take it anywhere they want.
Yeah. So Brian was a very, like, I don't know how to say this without not sounding bad, but like very sort of
traditional,
experimental player.
Okay.
Like tinkery, experimental, more kind of like never really had a drum part per se.
Okay.
like every time he'd play this, you know, he'd play something kind of different. So it was more of a experimental sort of thing, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a lot different when Ben, like, all of a sudden he's like, this is the drum part for the song, and it, like, you know, works in with both the guitar and the bass to make this sort of like cohesive thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So was Brian, that's his name, was it he wouldn't play the same thing twice? Like, he kind of was freeform-ish?
Not like freeform, but he didn't think of the drums in our band as like a, you know, as like writing a bass part or writing a guitar part.
Okay, I hear you.
You know what I mean? It was more like, this is what I'm playing right now.
Yes, I
rather
get it.
than this is the part, you know.
Mm-hmm. Huh.
So it, you know, took some getting used to, as obviously, you know. But I mean, Ben is a freaking amazing player, and he's a drum teacher, and he's written drum books. So, you know, he's no slouch. Obviously, replacing Brian, you know.
Which record is that he went in on? I'm just looking now. Is that the Billions EP?
That would have been the self-titled one.
In
2007.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. The one with the light post.
Yeah, actually, it was cool. So at the time, Zach Barocas from Jawbox was living in Minneapolis. He actually did the artwork for that.
Oh, cool, man.
Yeah, I actually played in a band with him and another local guy here that was in a really great drummer. So it was 2 drummers and me, and then a guitar player. And it was like playing with like 2 of the best drummers in Minneapolis at the time.
Wow.
This guy Ian Prince, and then Zach. But the problem was none of us were songwriters.
Huh.
So it would end up just being kind of these like parts, you know, and we could never really like assemble a song. And if we did, we didn't really have a direction. And then if we had a direction, we didn't really have, you know, like vocals, which wasn't necessarily a thing. It was just more of I think it was more of an excuse to get together and like jam, you know.
What was that called?
The Night Is Now, I believe.
Huh. Did anything?
I don't know if you.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, we never really recorded anything.
No,
but
okay.
Soon after, Zach moved back to New York, and you know, and I was right around that time. I think is when I was joining Zebulon Pike too, so I didn't really have a lot of extra time.
Okay. Wow, man. It's just fascinating, like the time put in, and even maintaining a band for as long as you guys have, and like you guys are friends, and like I don't know, how have you guys been a band for this long?
I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's like it's will. I mean, I guess more than anything, you know. It's also just doing it the way we want to do it. Like if there was all of a sudden pressure to like have to have an album done, or pressure to like do this tour or that tour, or pressure to like, you know, do this shit that we didn't necessarily care about, I don't know that we would still be doing it, you know?
Did you, like, because when we met you guys like on tour, but were you guys a band to tour a lot? Because I think like maybe that is the detriment to some bands. They burn out because they tour too much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with us, I mean, we definitely hit it hard for a number of years, probably, I'd say from like 2002 or 3, kind of when we got our shit together touring-wise, till about probably 2012, 2013.
Wow.
So, I mean, probably a solid 10 years of at least going out, you know, 2-3 times a year, and then doing a shitload of weekend warrior stuff, you know.
Yeah. Huh.
I mean, it'd be 5-6 weeks a year for me, that, you know, that was, you know, it's probably, well, it could be 7-8 weeks when you add everything up, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shit, man. Yeah, that's a lot. It's hard to like picture going that hard now, only because I had a conversation with a radio DJ about this, where I was saying I have a lot of friends who are older than me that kind of pulled the curtain back to show the reality of it, of just, it's hard to, like, it's not really hard to make money on the road to sustain. Oh, you still there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Sorry, my ears freaking out.
That's okay. You can make money on the road to sustain the band, but it's really hard to like come home with money, at least in my experience.
Totally.
So I don't know. I it's hard to picture 6 weeks a year on the road. I know it would make money for the band, but it's hard to think of it making money for me now. What do you guys want to do? Because you guys did Japan last year, right?
No, we haven't been to Japan since like 2012.
Oh my God! Wow, my shit's all fucked up.
But with this new record that he's all about, he wants us to come back this year.
Holy shit, eh?
So in 2019. But yeah, we're trying to figure that out. Yeah, no, for touring for us was really like a more of a, not a fuck you to Minneapolis, but it was kind of like, we're this band and nobody really seems to give a shit about us here. Like, how do we differentiate ourselves? You know what I mean? And it's like, well, fuck it, let's go on tour. Let's hit the road. And like pretty quickly we found that like people seem to give a shit about us more in other places than they did here.
Huh.
And I think, Minneapolis is definitely known as a music town, and I think a lot of people are, have their cliques and, and can be a little bit spoiled because you have so many, it gets cold here just like it does, in Canada, but people hibernate here and, then they spend all winter woodshed and music. So everybody's a musician. And so it's kind of weird, like, especially when we were in our early 20s, it was kind of like, unless you know the people, you're not really in the scene,
Oh, yeah.
You're not full shows.
Yep.
And I think, honestly, by 2004, 2005, after doing that for a while, we started being able to call our own shots,
I hear you, man.
in town.
I hear you. Dude, that's like the Spazz in Montreal. Like, it was a long time before, like, people cared. It felt like a long fucking time where there was I hear what you're saying. It wasn't a fuck you to Montreal because we did have some cool friends there, but there was a pride in being like, well, actually, I think this is just in general. I had a pride in like, I'm not a hobbyist, like this means enough to me that I'll step it up past other bands that, I think, they're big bands, but it's like, but they don't go out. They don't like, it sounds really dramatic, but like, they don't suffer for their art. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, that's a big part of it, Like,
I felt that.
The experiences. Yeah. Yeah.
When was the last time you guys did like some heavy touring? Because it's, I don't know. When did we fucking play with you guys? Fuck, when was that? 2000?
That'd been like 2009, I think, probably. So I was trying to figure that out the other day when you hit me up.
Maybe 2009 or 10. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I could pull it, but
that was a fucking crazy day, dude.
Dude, that's I think why we're like good buddies, because we experienced this really wacky night.
That was so crazy. I think was it Greenville, North Carolina?
I think it was Greensboro, South Carolina.
Are you sure though?
No, I'm not sure. Maybe it is Greenville.
I thought it was Greenville, because we've played Greensboro so many times.
Fuck.
And we've never been there before or never been there since to Greenville. But
okay. Maybe it was.
Think you guys and us ended up getting booked on like a sort of like a coffee shop sort of gig, right? Like together, just out of the blue. And we were both just happened to be on separate tours.
Mm-hmm.
And the show was like okay, from what I remember.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the one band storming off?
Oh yeah. Shit.
Yeah, there was a local band, I think, and it was a sort of a question of like who's gonna play when. I think, if I remember, and I think Mike, like something with Mike got in their faces and kind of was like, "Buck up," or there was a bunch of drama with the local band, and they just like fucked off and said we're not playing.
Yeah, they either wanted to play first or play last or something.
I don't
Or
remember.
no, they wanted to play in the middle. I don't remember what their deal was.
Yeah.
But Mike was kind of trying to explain etiquette to them or
Yeah.
something. They weren't having it.
Yeah, man. Fuck. Well, do you remember
That was crazy.
remember the guy Whitey? You remember Whitey?
Yeah.
There was a guy who was talking about, I've told the story before, I think, but he was bragging about his chain link guitar strap, and he later showed up at the house like open carry with his gun on his leg.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That night de-escalated very quickly.
Holy shit.
So
Did
it
we-
was like we met some people or whatever, and it was like, hey, do you guys want to come back after this show and go play our house?
Mhm.
And we're like, fuck yeah. And then we're like, you guys want to play with us? And you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. That was a special night,
And
man.
then we played that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then after that, shit started going downhill quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy fuck. I remember.
I mean, there was that dog shit room. Remember that? That they wanted us to sleep in?
yes.
And then they started burning all their couches and doing heroin and shit.
Yeah, that was a weird night. I didn't see any heroin. I don't remember heroin. I think I ducked
One
off
dude
to
was
the
like,
van.
I'm all fucked up on heroin, and I'm like, okay, dude. You know. I mean, it was a little crazy, man. I'm like 20-foot flames, and everybody's doing like hard drugs, and it was just like, all right.
Oh, wasn't it called like the Spazz House or something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
It's one of those
I think
fucking
so.
houses that like had a nickname. This is the fucking meth house. Oh, is it? Shit. Maybe I
Yeah,
wanna play
and
here.
I don't know if anybody actually lived there or if it was
Yeah.
just sort of like a transient group of people or whatever, you know. I mean, it's cool either way, you know.
Well, it's cool because we met you guys, and I remember. One thing I remember was Ben being really cool with me playing his kit because Ben had a nice kit, and I feel like I am a bit of a flailer basher. Which, if he had said like, "No, you can't use my kit," it would have been like totally cool, man, totally no big deal. But he was just like, "Yeah, go ahead, use it." Like, wow, thanks, man. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's a custom kit, and he's had it for since he was playing in Claire de Lune, I think, which was like 2001.
Yeah, it was a night to remember. But like, I was just talking about like touring and like, yeah, I guess after that tour, where do you feel like in your sort of career, quote unquote, it started to slow down touring wise, or has it? I don't know. Like, I haven't really kept up with your touring schedule, so I don't know.
No, it definitely has. Like, we were putting a record out every 2 years, like consistently from like when we started until about 2012. So in 2011, we went to Europe for a month, and then did another tour or two in the U.S. on top of that. And then 2012, we did another U.S. tour for the new record. That was the latest record, the latest full length before the one we're putting out now.
Yeah, the Fortress.
And then went to Japan as well. So I felt like kind of after that, so we started to slow down a little bit because it was kind of like, in some ways, it was kind of like, hey man, we've kind of fucking done way more than we ever thought we were gonna. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah. It's
and you know, like, we were getting older, and you know, relationships, and you know, Ben had a kid a couple years ago. So I mean, I think probably between 2013, 14, and now has been like definitely less productive as far as touring and writing. But you know, because we put this like kind of compilation thing together in 2015 as a sort of a pacifier, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To say we were doing something, but it only had 2 new songs on it. And we did like 2 covers, and then like 2 old songs, and whatever. But yeah, the last full length was 2012, which is kind of crazy, you know?
Yeah, shit, I guess. Well, I guess considering the pace that you guys put on, it almost feels like the natural progression though for like career musicians who aren't massive in their bands. because you do a lot of bucket list shit like Japan, Europe, you know, vinyls, tours, and then I think you come out of that like kind of like, fuck, like what's next? Like we don't have to, like really what's next? Especially you guys in Japan, like, you know, what the fuck? Like it makes sense that you would just kind of like, okay, let's just slow this down without even having to say, like, let's slow this down. It might be a natural thing. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of goes hand in hand too with having new material. Does it really make sense to?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what happened too. We talked about doing another couple European tours in between when we went now. And for whatever reason, either like the promoter was kind of like, you know, I really want to book this, but you don't really have something new to tour on.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Or even in the U.S., it's like, do we want to go do the West Coast without a new record? You know, it's
Totally.
like, so it kind of goes hand in hand, you know. So it's just, for whatever reason, we just haven't written as prolifically or whatever, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah. For you, how's it been? Like, has it been like not worrisome? That's not the right word, but like, are you itching, or was it a nice kind of break?
I think, you know, on some level, all three of us have kind of changed gears and back as far as sort of being the one pushing that, you know, I think right now, Ben, probably the last 4 or 5 years, even though he had a kid, he's still probably the one pushing the band the hardest.
Okay.
And doing most of the legwork at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with me, it's like I own a house. I live alone. I play in 2 bands. I have a full-time job. I've got a new business. Like, I'm starting. So it's kind of like, not that Self-Evident is on the back burner, but, you know, hey, if we get together once a week and rehearse, record a record, play some shows here and there, travel here and there, I'm totally cool with that. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I hear you, man. It's a band shit's fun, but it's also life can be fun, you know. Money to go to the movies is cool, and like just a step away from the grind. I think a good balance is important, like normal home shit, and then like crusty punk guy shit.
Yeah, and then probably about 2007 or 8, I started to get into homebrew and beer.
I've been seeing that, like winning awards and shit now. Like, fuck, man.
Well, you know how it is. Like you just said, you're not a hobbyist, man. You like fucking dive in head first, right?
Yeah, fuck, man. Well, is that like your business, your new business now?
Well, so I mean, kind of how the way it works is like, you know, you're not content with just making homebrew kits for 10 years, you know. So I did that for a while. Then I like started getting into like all grain and like really understanding the science of the complete process and water chemistry and blah blah blah. And you know, that's kind of when the switch flipped. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh fuck! Like I'm actually making decent beer, but then you hit a plateau and then you realize, oh no, actually it's not that good. And then you hit the next plateau and you're like, oh, I'm actually like making pretty decent beer. And then you start entering like competitions, and then you get shit on, right?
Hmm.
And then I started like going, okay, well, what do I really have to do to start like, you know, getting medals in this shit? And you know, I started getting into judging and evaluating beer, which went a long way. And then really understanding like the nuts and bolts science of the brewing process, and you know, building water profiles and writing my own recipe from scratch, and you know, designed basically a nano brew setup in my basement so I could make 22 gallons at a time. Not that I need to drink that much, but
yeah.
You know,
Man.
so then I started winning medals and you know, doing a lot of beer judging, and was really sort of engulfed with that, where almost the bands took maybe a little bit of a backseat to that. But then you know, hit a point where I'm like, well, now I'm starting to sort of help out at some local breweries, you know, and sort of learning it on a bigger scale for a couple of years. And then from like 2015 to 2017, I had a part-time job actually at a brewery as a professional brewer, which is cool.
Huh.
So then about a year and a half ago, I had a couple buddies, who wanted to get into starting a business, you know, opening a brewery. And I was like, all right, I'm in, you know.
Wow.
And one of the dudes had some money to put down, and So, we got an LLC going and all the business shit and a lawyer, and, start looking at spots with with our real estate guy, and probably looked at a half dozen spots. And all of a sudden one day just happened where our realtor and the guy who owned the building, that this other brewery was in, got a hold of him and said, "Hey, you guys have guys looking for a brewery space, right?" And our real estate guy's like, "Yeah." And he said, "Well, this brewery's going out of business basically today, and these guys have a day to come in here
What?
and make a bid on all their assets before they go to auction."
Holy shit.
Yeah, so we made a bid, and it was pennies on the dollar, and the bank took it.
Oh, man.
So,
Wow.
yeah, so we've
crazy.
actually now been in. So we pretty much had to sign a lease right away, so we didn't have to move all the shit out of there.
Yeah. Holy fuck. So just like that.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
I mean, we've been looking and planning for, luckily we had everything in place, but the space just fell into our lap, and now we've been trying to kind of hustle to get our bank loan finalized, because we want to remodel the whole place and rebrand and add more tanks and, do a whole bunch of shit.
Holy
So,
fuck.
yeah, I mean, hopefully we're open by late spring, early summer, something like that.
Wow. Man, that's exciting, dude. That's so cool, too. I just love when, my music buddies can find something cool to do for work instead of, I'm a custodian. It's not cool. It was fucking awesome, man.
I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of those cool jobs don't pay real well or have the benefits, which is the hard part.
Yeah, true, very true. Yeah.
So I'm keeping my day job, at least to start, which has become cooler because I've been in HVAC field forever, and it's not real exciting, so I won't bore you, but I've been doing a lot more brewery projects because just knowing people in town. So I do a lot of the glycol piping,
Cool.
estimating and running the projects, and steam piping, and get involved with a lot of other people's breweries on a mechanical side, which is kind of fun,
Wow. Yeah, it's well, shit, man. Anything that can add to your sort of depth of knowledge of the beer world, I think, is good. Shit. Everything.
Yeah.
That's fucking.
Yeah.
What's a?
So, you guys are beer guys, right?
I am, yes and no. I feel like I am, but I wish I lived closer to you to sit down and learn simply. Okay, what's the difference between a Pilsner and a lager? Because they taste kind of the same to me. So no, I'm not a beer guy. I like beer, but I can't differentiate shit.
So Pilsner is a type of lager. A lager pretty much now these days just refers to the type of yeast that you're using to make beer.
There you go. I don't know shit.
Anyway, we don't need to get into this.
Yeah.
But one cool thing that'd be kind of fun for you to look at would be, and a lot of my friends are really trying to get into beer. There's an app you can get on your phone. It's called BJCP.
BJCP?
So it's a beer, BJCP, a beer judge certification program.
Huh.
And the app has all of the different beer styles and guidelines that are in that specific program.
Interesting.
So if you really want to nerd out sometime, you can go through each beer style, and it'll give you a description of aroma and appearance and flavor and mouthfeel and overall impression and the specs on the beer and blah blah blah. So if you really want to learn what a Baltic porter is, they'll give you all the details on it.
Holy fuck, yeah. It is that's partially why I like to do this podcast thing, because I can catch up with my friends, and find out. It's a bummer we're not literally closer, because I would just hang and sip and learn. But I'll have to look at that app, yeah, if I go a little deeper in the beer show. Yeah. What's the company going to be called? What's the beer going to be called?
Falling Knife is the tentative name. Our trademark has gone through, but here in the U.S., your trademark can go through, but then the public has a month to fight it. It's really weird.
All right.
But I think we've gotten past that point now, so I think publicly I can mention that.
Okay. Well, what is it? What is it? Falling Ice?
Yeah, Falling Knife. Yeah.
Okay. Falling Knife or Ice? My headphones are shit.
Falling Knife, cutting.
Okay, knife. Okay, Falling Knife. Okay. Wow, cool. Yeah. Well, shit. Maybe you guys will do a Self-Evident brew or something.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun.
A Tom Berg.
Or we'll
brew.
do a great Sabatini beer.
Oh, that'd be cool, man. I wanted to ask about the new record because it's coming out like in like 3 weeks, right? January 18th.
Yeah.
Like because it was 7 years between full lengths, like kind of was it a wholly different writing process for you guys, or like kind of how what was it the story behind how you guys wrote the album? The same as other albums or different or?
I would say this is a much different sounding record comparatively to anything else just because of that time span. It's more, I guess I'd say more like calculating, probably more brooding, probably less spastic.
Okay.
So back in the day, we worshiped Fugazi so much that, it'd be like, 1, 2, 3, 4 song, play as fast as you can, done, 2.5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And as we've gotten older, not only in like the recording process of like being like comfortable, like doing overdubs of pianos and pads and keyboards and auxiliary percussion and 3-part harmonies and all this different like washy guitar stuff, which sort of influences the songs, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like being able to let the songs breathe, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's also probably a lot of what we've been listening to. And then I'm sure like, me being in Zebulon Pike, which is kind of more of a doom sludgy band, like being able to really pull those grooves back in some, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm excited to hear the rest of the album because the one like the Lost Inside the Machinery is I feel like harkens back to like the last 2 full lengths.
Yeah, it's not drastically different.
But just hearing this description, was it like I don't know, was it to try something new, or it just was a natural sort of like you guys weren't even realizing this was kind of happening? The maybe more breathable music, because 7 years is a long time between albums, and people can change and life changes, and it's really this long as a band. It's so cool that a band can be together this long, and to think of like where are the people personally, and how does that turn into like what their next album's gonna sound. I'm really excited, man. Fuck.
Yeah, me too. And it's kind of like, you don't put a record out for so long, like you don't know what people are gonna think. And like so far, everybody who's kind of heard it, granted, most of those people are our friends, but they're like, holy fuck. And I'm like, really? You know what I mean? Because you don't know.
Yeah. Well,
at that point, it's like totally out of context, right?
Yeah, it's well, Sabs kind of went through the same thing. Like, it was 4 years between albums, and it's like, wow, like does anyone even remember us? Like,
yeah,
have we fallen off?
Totally right. Yeah, I think the last record I got from you guys, I think, was Dog Years.
That was the last full length, yeah.
So that would have been like what? When we saw you guys, probably 2014.
Yep.
And yeah, I checked out that new video, man. It's awesome, and the sound, like, it sounds great.
Oh, I'm so happy.
I'm really excited to be able to get that full length out. You guys must have just put that out, right?
Yeah, like last month. Yeah, a month ago
nice.
Almost. So yeah, we're kind of in the same sort of boat. It's like I was happy with how it was received as far as just the attention. And it was interesting because like we only did 6 shows in support of the release, whereas in the past it was that Dog Years thing was a tour. We did the States. I think we went west for Dog Years. It was a totally different route, but shit, it's interesting. Like, we did the best pre-sales we've ever done with not being active for years, and I don't know. I would hope that people would be hungry for. I was hoping people would be hungry for new Sab stuff, and same with you. The years put in, like, you have a fan base. You just hope that they know that it's coming out. Because me, I kind of just stumbled across it, like, oh yeah, fuck this, the new album's coming out. So,
well, probably because we've been Facebook friends for 10 years or whatever. But yeah, it's weird. It's like technology. It's like in some ways it's way easier to like spread something, but then also like harder because there's that many more voices in the, in the canyon or whatever you want to, you know what I mean?
Oh, totally, man. I know there's a tsunami of new music every single day and new apps to get new music, and like, fuck, I was worried, but it turned out okay for us, and hopefully it'll turn out for you guys. You're doing vinyl, right? Right? I'm looking on the...
Yep. So yeah, Mike, Double Plus Good is putting vinyl out here, and then Stiff Slack's doing a CD version in Japan.
Cool.
There'll be three bonus tracks on that, like we've done with the past records.
Nice, man.
Which maybe in some ways is part of the reason we didn't have it done faster. I mean, those 3 extra songs are just 3 more songs that have to be written, recorded, mixed. Also, part of the thing too is we've always gone down to record and mix with Carl, and it's been way more militant process, like where we only have a week to finish an entire record.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He'll mix it after we leave, but I mean, we'll go home with a rough mix already after a week, sleeping on cots in a barn. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's you guys did the last bunch in Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. But this time, with Ben having a kid and stuff, like, just trying to even take that extra week off, we recorded with a guy in town, Adam Tucker. Actually, he did that last compilation thing too, but we had Carl mix it.
Okay.
But yeah, so we recorded with him, but we took our sweet ass time. You know what I mean? It was like, I don't think we sent Carl even rough or even tracks to mix for like 3-4 months.
So the tracking,
and then we went back and forth with Carl for like almost another 3-4 months trying to get it right. You know?
Okay. So what's it like from beginning of writing to the release? What's that long? How long is that? 2 years, a year, 3 years?
Well, no, I mean, I'd say it's probably more like 3 years, because pretty much the 2 songs that we put on that compilation were released in 2015. So, and some of the other older new songs that, I'd say we probably started writing this album in 2014, something like that.
Wow. It must be nice.
2013, 2014.
Yeah, it must be nice that it's like here now. Like, okay, the next one is here. 3 years of work, and then shit, man. If you guys like, so were you talking about going back to Japan with this new album, maybe? Yeah,
that's the idea. We just we got to figure out when, and then at this point it probably would be sometime mid-year.
Yeah. That's fucking cool, man. Maybe come up to Canada.
Yeah, it's so funny. We've we've literally played most states, and then 2 other continents, but never played Canada.
Wow.
I think just because we've always just been scared shitless about like the whole customs and merch thing.
Oh man, it's like a joke in comparison to us going down. It's a joke for you guys to come up. Like it's very simple.
Really?
Very simple. Like the merch thing, I need more clarification on, but I helped out. Sabs did some shows with Yautja and Puron, and it was just like I sent a letter of intent, just like, here's what's up. They're coming to play some shows. They're getting paid this much money, and it was like so simple. It's kind of, that's it. Like there's a letter of intent. It's not as terrifying as I think you think it is.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yeah,
I loved it. I've been there. We've never played shows there.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, fuck. We should talk and figure this out. We have so many, like the Sabs. We're not planning to hit the States anytime, but we're open to do stuff, with people up here. So, yeah. Wow, shit. The album's coming out soon. It'd be cool, man. It only sucks that you guys are in Minneapolis, though. Like it's a bit of a trek to Toronto or Montreal, for that matter.
Yeah, we'd probably go through like Chicago, Michigan, Ohio, and then cut up that way. Probably I would have to talk about it.
Fuck. Okay. Well, I think that's most of the stuff I wanted to talk about. I do have questions, but it's free form, and they'll pull whenever I'm feeling like we're about to have a 10-minute all right, so what's up, man? But I did I remember there was that Metal Sucks. I think it was Metal Sucks. There was an article on like your tone, like Tom Berg's.
Oh God.
Bass. You remember that?
Yeah.
But it is like legit. You have a great bass tone, and there's like some gearheads who listen. So I always think it's interesting to just break down your gear. What are you playing, man?
Well, so that's the thing is I'm not really a tinker. It's like I kind of found what I liked and just sort of stuck with it. Now, in some ways, it kind of sucks because like I've had this head retubed over the last 15 years, like 10 times.
Huh.
You know what I mean? So basically, I mean, it's pretty simple. With Self-Evident, I play through like one Ampeg HLF 410 or 410 HLF supported. I have a hard time with the fridge cabs without the horns.
Okay.
Because they get kind of clicky clacky.
Huh.
But like the 410 HLF to me is a lot warmer, and doesn't have as much of that like corn Primus thing going. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then the SVT2 Pro, I found that like as a display model, like 15 years ago, and I've been in love with it ever since. But yeah, that thing just kind of requires constant maintenance. And then for a long time, I was playing, other basses I was never really happy with until I got this 62 Jazz, Fender Jazz, and I just fucking love it. It's like the harder you dig in, the better it sounds. You know what I mean? The more it growls. I don't think I'll ever play an active bass again.
Wow.
And then I never really used pedals until I was in my, mid to late 20s.
Okay.
And I kind of I need some sort of overdrive, so I got like the bass Sans amp.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, well, now it'd be nice to get a distortion pedal. And I looked at, a ton of distortion pedals. And what I really like was like the more warmer, like fuzz tone compared to like the more angular, like chainsaw. You know what I mean?
Okay. Uh-huh.
So I've been using a bass Big Muff now for 10 years. So, I mean, literally my setup hasn't really changed in over 10 years. And I have a volume pedal just for shits and giggles, more or less,
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. That's in that new video. You're using like swelling some
for
volume.
swell. And, I've screwed around with like other delay stuff or samplers or some other stuff, but it just never stuck.
Huh.
And but yeah, I mean, I know guys that like just keep changing combinations of stuff forever, and they're just never totally happy, and it's kind of like chasing the dragon kind of thing. And for me, it was like, okay, I think I'm very comfortable with this, and I really haven't even, I don't really change the knobs. Everything's pretty much at like noon except for volume, and then with Zeb Pike, the only difference is since we're, at least a more dramatic band, we all play full stacks. I just stack on another 410,
And that's the only difference.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Did you know that like article was being written? Like it was cool, but I'm sure, like, I don't know, did they hit you up like, hey, we're going to do this? Or did it just pop online one day and you're like, oh, what the fuck?
Well, I think what actually happened is it wasn't maybe like as glamorous as because Metal Sucks is kind of a big deal,
At the time, it was like, whoa, this is really, really rad.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people read it or saw it. And, well, what happened was a buddy of mine, Steve, who lives in Minneapolis, like somehow like put in a drawing or entered something to like write for them for a week or something.
Okay.
So he had already had the connection, obviously, here and with me, and I guess decided to write the flattering article.
Hey, man,
but
cool.
what's super funny about it is, and I didn't even catch this, but like he used an example of a Zeb Pike song that he put a video up of it or whatever it was, but it wasn't even me playing.
Oh fuck!
It was the original bass player. Who's a fucking monster?
Oh man, yeah, that was me.
So,
oh, whatever, man. Those little like.
but yeah, it was super flattering, and that dude's awesome. And I was like, you know, it was flattering. You know?
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. Just a little nod, like, hey, you know. I don't know. Actually, before I go, I wanted to ask you just the video that was released. Was that like, were some of those takes actually the ones that made it onto the album, or was it an after the fact in a studio? Because it's in a studio and you guys are tracking the record, but.
Yeah, that was the actual recording.
A lot of like, wow, was the camera guy fucking with you to like be right there, like, all right, I'm filming you, record this, that's gonna forever be on your album.
It wasn't really that obnoxious. I think we're just so used. At that point, we'd been playing a lot of these songs now for 3-4 years, so they were pretty comfortable. Cool. The other thing is like we overdubbed the vocals, so that was obviously after the fact. Just because it's the bleed and everything with trying to do vocals for us, in the same room. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think those were all the takes we used.
That's cool. Yeah. It's I knew it wasn't a completely staged thing, but I was just thinking like, I wonder how much of this is actually what I'm seeing and hearing. It made me think of like rap videos, because there's some rap videos where like they're in the studio, but it's always like, is this actually the one that was on the record? I don't know.
Yeah, and then you'll never really know, right?
Yeah. Man, let's fucking I do this thing, the Hibzine, which is I just play some music from the people I've been talking to. So it's I think the only single right now that you can play off the record. Yeah. But I'll put it in after if that's cool, but I wanted to put in Lost Inside the Machinery.
Cool. Yeah, we have a music video that just came out too, like an actual like produced music video that's not just a studio.
Oh shit. Okay, wow. I'll have to check that out. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't think I've even put it up anywhere yet because I haven't had time, but it turned out pretty cool.
Okay, fucking cool. Wow.
For awesome. A song called The Cutter.
Okay, shit. Okay, maybe I did see that on Facebook, but either way, I'll play Lost Inside the Machinery off of that's what the album's called, right? Lost Inside the Machinery.
Yeah.
Which comes out January 18th. I'll put it in right here.
Cool. How are your other dudes doing, man?
Good. Fuck, man. Yeah, everyone's doing good. Shawnee's owns a tattoo shop now, which is super cool. Robbo's in school, but you never met Joey. That's the one guy you never met. The bass player.
I don't think I did. Yeah,
No.
I don't think I did.
No,
I always thought of you guys as a three-piece, you know?
No, that's a crazy thing. He's the fourth guy that has never been in the States with us, so he's doing good too, though, I think. Yeah, things
Yeah, I see a lot of Sean stuff on Facebook, at least, you know, like as we get older, it's a way to sort of keep track of people, but I don't know if Rob really posts on there much.
Not much, man. No. Like, actually, fuck, I don't think if ever. But yeah, man.
Which is not the worst thing in the world to not be,
Totally.
stuck on Facebook, but that's my constant battle.
Yeah. Oh, well, shit. Yeah, I took off Facebook from my phone in an attempt to just to kind of live a little bit, especially with my kid, man. Like, I'm hyper aware of trying not to be on my phone around him because I don't want him to think that's normal. Like, oh, people just look at phones all day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing, right? I mean, I don't have kids, but I mean that's got to probably be policed on some level, right?
Oh fuck, man! Like I have to self-police, so like yeah, I could be more like Rob and just get off the fucking social media. But
yeah, but that takes self-control, dude.
Oh my god! Well, man, I had to delete the app. Like that's the point that it got to, and I I have Messenger on there, but. That's what I love about this, man. Like this is is undistracted, is that a word? But I'm not distracted in talking to my friends. Like I don't think enough people do this, like in general, like call someone like, hey, how you doing? What's up? It's a lost art, man, for real.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm flattered that you asked me to do this.
Oh man, like I asked you a long time ago. I've wanted you on for a long time, and I just kind of forgot in the jumble of life, and it's just kind of perfect timing. Like cool, like the album's coming out, we can catch up, and it's cool, man. It's really cool. Like it was cool meeting you guys, and then the fact that you came out to the show and helped us out. Like it's cool. It's cool when like a band that you're a fan of is your friend. Like. I don't know. You guys make really cool music, man. Your fucking band is so good.
Thanks, dude. Yes, it's like rare to like. That was the big thing with our 20-year show. Is like, who do we ask? Especially, who do we ask that doesn't live in Minneapolis? And really, there's like 5 or 6 that stood out that we've either toured with or like traveled with or have became friends. And like, literally, just went to a wedding of a buddy of mine that plays in Bear Claw like a month ago. I mean, like that's how close we've got. You know what I mean?
Wow. Yeah, this shit's important, man, and especially like to help each other out at this point, in a way that like we're not funding each other's shit, but there's an excitement. Like I'm excited talking about this type of stuff. Like I love this shit, and I love to talk to my friends about this, and especially like dudes who have been doing it for a long fucking time. Like I guess it's like kind of inevitable that we'll be old men. Hopefully still talking about like when's your next fucking album coming out, like that type of shit would be awesome.
And that idea of like like making it or getting signed or whatever, like that whole thing of like crawling up the ladder, whatever bullshit, that's like that ship has sailed, man. It's like at this point we just want to write the best music we can and record it with like the people that we know that'll record it the best and mix it the best and do as much promotion as we can or know how to do, and hopefully people fucking like it. And it's that simple. You know what I mean?
100%, man. I think that's the best way to close this.
Yeah.
But okay, hold up. Well, let me just stay on the line real quick here, man. Let me just do the quick little. So people can find this on selfevident.bandcamp.com. You can go to Facebook, find it there. Pre-order it. Comes out January 18th. Buy it. And yeah, I think that's about it. All right, that was the episode, dudes. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow the Instagram page. I have that up. I'm posting new episodes. I have old episodes that I'll post, things here and there. It's just Take Her Wide Podcast. You can find that on Instagram. The homepage is just takerwide.com. All the other episodes are up there, posted. You can easily just search a band name if you're curious to see if I interviewed them, because at this point I've interviewed quite a few people. There's a newsletter I ship out every Friday that is just a basic recap of the episodes, and there's some more savings from the sponsors that are only exclusive to the newsletter. So just sign up and I send them out once a week. It's not really too much of a hassle for me or for you guys. And what else? I have the shirts. If you guys want to support the show, takerwide.com. There's a merch part there, or just go to takerwide.bigcartel.com and check out the design that Shawnee did, aka Wormzilla. I don't have any XLs, but I think I have all other sizes. So if you want to support, that'd be really cool. You can wear some Taker Wide swag. And that's really, I think, about it. Hopefully you guys have a good New Year. Be safe. I don't know. That's really kind of it. Just thank you as always for listening. Thank you for caring. Thank you for giving a shit. It means a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys. In the new year. All right. Have a good fucking time. Love you guys. Peace.